Why do 92% of people miss their goals by January 15th? You have the motivation. You have the vision board. You have the desire. Yet, year after year, the structure yields. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are simply trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. Consider the psychological cost of this cycle. Every time you set a goal and do not achieve it, you are not just missing a task. You are eroding your trust in yourself. It becomes a negative loop. Your brain begins to associate setting a goal with feeling discomfort, and eventually you stop setting goals altogether to protect yourself from the inevitable disappointment. This is not a lack of capability. It is a defense mechanism gone wrong. We live in a culture that worships the start. We celebrate the announcement, the launch, the New Year's resolution. But we ignore the sustain. The dopamine rush comes from telling people what you are going to do, rather than actually doing it. This creates a society of master architects who never lay a single brick. You have likely spent more time researching the perfect workout plan than actually lifting weights. You have spent more time designing the logo than selling the product. This is the trap of productive procrastination. There is a concept called drift, famously described by Napoleon Hill. It is the state of mind where an individual allows themselves to be influenced by external circumstances, rather than their own intent. The drifter does not steer the ship. They float wherever the current takes them. Most people are drifting through their own lives, reacting to emails, reacting to news, reacting to other people's demands. Discipline is the act of grabbing the wheel. It is the decision to stop floating and start driving, even against the current. Furthermore, we often misunderstand the nature of freedom. We think freedom means doing whatever I want, whenever I want. But that is the freedom of a child, not an adult. True freedom is the ability to choose your constraints. If you are not disciplined with your diet, you are not free. You are a servant to your appetite. If you are not disciplined with your money, you are a servant to your bank manager. Discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It is the prerequisite for it. Without structure, you are merely a leaf blowing in the wind of your impulses. True change requires a level of honesty that is uncomfortable. You have to admit that your current operating system is obsolete. You have to admit that trying harder has not worked for the last 10 years, so it is statistically unlikely to work this year. The definition of irrationality is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Yet we treat our habits with this exact irrationality. We rely on a burst of emotion to carry us through a marathon of effort, and we are shocked when the emotion runs out at mile 3. You are holding this audiobook because you suspect there is a better way. You suspect that the people you admire, the elite athletes, the top CEOs, the prolific artists, are not struggling through every minute of their day. You suspect they know something you don't. You are right. They have stopped relying on the fleeting weather of emotion and have started relying on the physics of infrastructure. They don't have to psych themselves up to work, just as you don't have to psych yourself up to brush your teeth. It is simply what they do. Stop me if this sounds familiar. You wake up Monday morning, inspired. You build a massive plan. You work for 3 days with intensity. Then, one gear slips. You miss a workout. You skip a reading session. And suddenly, the entire machine grinds to a halt. You feel regret. You feel the weight of starting over for the 100th time. You look at others, the high achievers, and you wonder if they have a genetic gift that you lack. They don't. The difference between the dreamer and the doer is not magic. It is engineering. This audiobook is not about motivation. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings are weather. Discipline is architecture. This is about building a structural system in your mind that operates with the precision of a Swiss watch. We are going to deconstruct the faulty wiring that causes you to procrastinate, and we are going to install a new operating system. We are going to turn your mind from a chaotic construction site into a fortress of consistency. We will go deep. In Chapter 4, you will discover the invisible friction principle, a tiny error in your environment that stops 99% of new habits before they even start. And later, in Chapter 9, I will reveal the identity bridge, the psychological shift you must make if you want your habits to last more than 60 days. Without this, you will always revert to your factory settings. Before we lay the first brick, if you are ready to stop dreaming and start building, like this video now. Subscribe to the channel, Because your transformation from amateur to professional builder begins today. And I want you to cement this commitment right now. Go to the comments and write this mantra. I am the architect of my destiny. Write it down. Make it real. The dreamer waits for the perfect weather to build. The doer builds the roof, so the weather doesn't matter. Your old self, the one who quit when things got hard, stays here. The architect moves forward. Let's look at the blueprints. Chapter 1. The illusion of willpower. In the late 19th century, there was a watchmaker named Elias in a small village in Switzerland. Elias was obsessed with building the perfect clock tower for the town square. He spent years crafting the massive bronze bells and the beautiful golden hands that everyone would see. He polished the exterior until it shone like the sun. But Elias disliked the small, tedious work of filing the tiny internal gears. No one sees them, he said. The big gears will push the small ones. On the day of the unveiling, the town gathered. The clock struck 1. Perfect. It struck 2. Perfect. But at 2:15, a microscopic burr on a hidden pinion gear, no larger than a grain of sand, caught on a lever. The friction created heat. The heat expanded the brass. Within minutes, the mainspring broke with a loud snap. The massive golden hands stopped. The tower didn't fail because the exterior wasn't beautiful. It failed because the internal architecture was flawed. You are Elias. Most people approach self-discipline, focusing on the golden hands, the visible results, the six-pack abs, the million-dollar bank account, the published book. You polish the exterior. You announce your goals to the world. But you ignore the microscopic gears, the tiny, boring, invisible habits that actually drive the machine. When you rely on willpower, you are trying to push the hands of the clock manually. It works for an hour, maybe a day, but eventually your arm gets tired, and the time stops. Let's look at the biology of this failure. Willpower is biologically expensive. It consumes glucose in the prefrontal cortex. When you spend all day resisting temptations, not checking your phone, not eating the donut, not snapping at your boss, you are literally burning fuel. By 6 p.m., your tank is empty. This is why most diets fail in the evening. This is why most setbacks happen at night. You are not weak-willed at night. You are simply biologically depleted. Relying on willpower is like driving a car using only the starter motor. The starter motor is designed to get the engine going, not to drive you across the country. If you hold the key in the ignition position for 5 hours, you will deplete the motor. Willpower is for initiation, not for duration. Habits are the main engine. Habits require almost zero energy to maintain once they are running. The goal of the architect is to move behaviors from the starter motor of willpower to the main engine of habit as quickly as possible. Think of it like a thermostat. An amateur manually adjusts the temperature every time the room gets cold. They are constantly monitoring, constantly reacting, constantly turning the dial. A professional installs a thermostat. They set the temperature once, and the system automatically regulates itself. Discipline is not about constant manual adjustment. It is about installing a thermostat for your behaviors. The goal is to make the right decision, the automatic decision. The illusion is that disciplined people are constantly fighting a battle. We look at a Navy SEAL or a grandmaster chess player, and we think, they must be struggling. But they aren't. They have simply trained their internal gears so well that the difficult action has become the default action. For them, not training would be harder than training. Not studying would be more uncomfortable than studying. They have inverted the friction. When you rely on willpower, you are in a state of constant internal conflict. Part of you wants to do the work, and part of you wants to relax. This civil war is exhausting. Real discipline eliminates the conflict. There is no debate. There is no negotiation. You don't negotiate with your alarm clock. You don't negotiate with your standards. The decision was made yesterday. Today is simply for execution. This mental silence is the true mark of the architect. Willpower is a battery, not an engine. Every time you force yourself to do something you dislike, you drain the battery. This is called ego depletion in psychology. If you have to use willpower to get to the gym, you have already lost. The architect designs a system where the gym is the path of least resistance. We need to shift from forcing willpower to flowing, automated mechanism. A well-designed clock doesn't try to tell time. It just does. Because that is how its gears are aligned. Technique number 1. The friction audit. You must identify the sand in the gears. Look at your environment. If you want to read in the morning, but the book is on a high shelf in another room, that is friction. If you want to run, but your shoes are in the closet, that is friction. The architect removes friction for good habits and adds friction for bad habits. Technique number 2. The 2-minute gear. Do not try to build the whole tower today. Just file one gear. Make the habit so small it would be ridiculous not to do it. Don't commit to running a marathon. Commit to putting on your running shoes. Once the small gear turns, it moves the medium gear, which turns the massive gear. Stop looking at the clock face. Look at the gears. Tonight, I want you to pick one goal, just one. Do not visualize the success. Visualize the smallest, most boring action required to start it. Can you automate it? Can you prepare it the night before? Be the mechanic, not the dreamer. Chapter 2. The Dopamine Blueprint. Your brain is not designed for success. It is designed for survival. And in the modern world, your survival mechanism is being hacked every single minute of every single day. To understand why you fail, you must understand the molecule of desire, dopamine. Dopamine is not about gratification. It is about anticipation. It is the chemical that drove our ancestors to hunt, to forage, to seek new territory. Without dopamine, the human race would have ceased to exist. It is a powerful propulsion system. However, this system evolved in an environment of scarcity. In the ancient world, sugar was rare, novelty was rare, high-status validation was rare. Today, you carry a device in your pocket that delivers supernormal sensory input instantly. A notification on Instagram hits the same neural pathways that finding food did for your ancestors. Hyper-stimulating content hits the same pathways that reproduction did. Video games hit the same pathways that conquering territory did. We must differentiate between fast dopamine and slow dopamine. Fast dopamine is cheap. It comes from sugar, likes, and impulsive spending. It spikes rapidly and drops rapidly, leaving you emptier than before. Slow dopamine is expensive. It comes from finishing a project, running a mile, or learning a skill. It rises slowly and sustains you. The problem is that fast dopamine is so loud it drowns out the slow dopamine. You cannot hear the symphony of achievement because you are deafened by the noise of distraction. You are drowning in unearned rewards. When you flood your brain with cheap dopamine, your receptors downregulate. This means your brain essentially dulls its own sensors to protect itself from the noise. The result: baseline reset. The simple joys of life, reading a book, working on a project, having a conversation, no longer register. They feel boring. They feel gray. You become numb to anything that isn't a flashing light or a loud noise. This creates the hedonic treadmill. You need more and more sensory input just to feel normal. You check your phone not to feel good, but just to stop feeling anxious. You are no longer pursuing gratification. You are running from withdrawal. This is the definition of dependency. To build discipline, we must step off the treadmill. We must accept the discomfort of silence until our brain's sensitivity resets to baseline. The tech giants know this. They hire the smartest neuroscientists in the world to engineer their apps to be sticky. They use variable reward schedules, the same psychology used in slot machines, to keep you pulling the lever. You are not fighting against bad habits. You are fighting against billion-dollar algorithms designed to harvest your attention. It is asymmetric warfare. You can't focus. You sit down to work, and within 30 seconds, your hand reaches for your phone. You didn't decide to do it. It happened automatically. Why? Because you are dependent. We all are. We are dependent on cheap, unearned dopamine. The architecture of your brain has a reward system. When you do something good for survival, like eat, you get a splash of dopamine. But modern technology, social media, junk food, video games, delivers a fire hose of dopamine for zero effort. You are flooding your engine with high-octane fuel while parked in the garage. The myth is that you lack passion. You think, if I truly loved my work, I wouldn't be distracted. False. You can love your work. But if your dopamine receptors are exhausted from cheap input, a book will never compete with social media. It's not about passion, it's about sensitivity. To build discipline, you don't need to add more input. You need to starve the distraction. You need to recalibrate the machine so that boring work feels rewarding again. Technique number 1. The dopamine detox protocol. For 24 hours, you cut the fuel lines to cheap gratification. No screens, no sugar, no music, no validation. You bore yourself back to life. When you stare at a wall for an hour, suddenly, writing that report feels like a thrill. Technique number 2. The reward coupling. Link a high-friction task with a high-reward activity, but strictly after. The architecture requires the work before the payment. Never prepay your brain with dopamine before the effort. Right now, look at your phone. It is a slot machine. Turn off all non-human notifications. If it's not a text from a real person, it is noise. Reclaim your attention span. Chapter 3. The identity pillar. Most people try to build discipline from the outside in. They say, I want to run a marathon. This is an outcome-based goal. It is flimsy. It is like painting a wooden shack to look like a brick house. The first storm will blow it down. The architect builds from the inside out. This is called identity-based discipline. This concept is rooted in the psychological principle of cognitive dissonance. The human mind hates contradiction. If you believe you are a healthy person, but you are eating junk food, your brain experiences stress. To relieve that stress, you must either change the action, stop eating, or change the belief. Convince yourself you don't care about health. Usually, people change the belief because it is easier. But we can use this mechanism in reverse. If you fundamentally shift your identity first, the actions follow as a way to resolve the dissonance. If you truly believe I am an athlete, then skipping a workout creates mental discomfort. It feels wrong. It feels unlike me. Discipline becomes the way you restore your inner balance, rather than something you force upon yourself. You are not fighting your nature, you are expressing it. Consider the reticular activating system (RS) in your brain. It is the filter that decides what information you notice. When you buy a red car, suddenly you see red cars everywhere. The cars were always there. Your RS just wasn't tuned to them. When you adopt the identity of a disciplined person, your RS begins to point out opportunities for discipline that you previously ignored. You start seeing the stairs instead of the elevator. You start seeing the book instead of the remote. You literally see a different world. Consider the imposter syndrome phase. When you first adopt a new identity, you will feel like a fraud. You will say, I am a writer, but your brain will whisper, no, you're not. You haven't published anything. This is the critical architectural moment. You must live in the tension of that doubt until it becomes the truth. You must fake it, not to deceive others, but to instruct your own subconscious. Method acting works this way. Actors don't just memorize lines. They adopt the psychology of the character. They walk like them, think like them, eat like them. After a while, the line between actor and character blurs. You must become the method actor of your own life. You are casting yourself in a new role. The script has changed. The wardrobe has changed. You cannot walk onto the set of The Successful Entrepreneur, wearing the costume of the lazy dreamer. Imagine two people trying to quit smoking. When offered a cigarette, the first person says, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. It sounds reasonable, but listen closely. They still believe they are a smoker who is attempting to do something hard. They are a smoker engaging in self-denial. Eventually the denial breaks. The second person refuses the cigarette and simply says, no thanks, I'm not a smoker. It's a small difference in language, but a massive difference in architecture. They have shifted their identity. They aren't trying to do anything, they are simply acting in alignment with who they are. A non-smoker doesn't smoke. It requires zero willpower. Your behaviors are usually a reflection of your identity. What you do is an indication of the type of person you believe that you are, either consciously or non-consciously. If you believe you are bad with money, you will subconsciously sabotage your savings to align with that truth. If you believe you are lazy, you will find ways to procrastinate to prove yourself right. The human brain is a consistency machine. It fights to align your actions with your beliefs. Technique number 1. The I am override. Stop saying I have to go to the gym. Start saying I am an athlete. An athlete trains regardless of the weather. Stop saying I need to write. Say I am a writer. A writer writes. It sounds simple, almost childish, but you are reprogramming the deepest layer of your operating system. Technique number 2. The evidence log. Every night, write down 3 things you did that confirm your new identity. I chose water over soda. That is 1 vote for I am healthy. I read 5 pages. That is 1 vote for I am a scholar. You are building a legal case against your old self. Eventually, the evidence becomes overwhelming. Chapter 4. Environmental engineering. In the mountains of Japan, there are Zen monasteries designed with absolute precision. Nothing is random. The walking paths force you to slow down. The gardens force you to look up. The sleeping quarters are sparse to force you to wake early. The monks do not have superhuman willpower. They simply live in an environment where discipline is the only logical outcome. This brings us to the concept of decision fatigue. Every time you have to decide between the gym and the couch, you burn mental energy. Every time you have to decide between the salad and the pizza, you burn energy. By the end of the day, your decision muscles are exhausted and you choose the easiest option. The architect designs an environment where the decision has already been made. If you walk into a dark room, you don't use willpower to turn on the lights. You flip the switch because it is right there next to the door. It is accessible. It is obvious. We need to make your good habits as obvious as a light switch. We need to design your physical space so that the good behavior is the default behavior. This is called choice architecture. Supermarkets use this against you. They put the candy bars at eye level at the checkout because they know you are tired. They put the milk at the back of the store so you have to walk past the junk food. They are engineering your environment to make you fail. You must counter-engineer your home to make you succeed. Hide the junk, display the fruit. Make the bad habit invisible and the good habit unavoidable. Look at the visual cues in your room. Humans are visually dominant creatures. If your eyes see a TV, your brain primes itself for entertainment. If your eyes see a bag of chips, your brain primes itself for hunger. If your eyes see a yoga mat, your brain primes itself for movement. Most people live in environments that scream comfort and distraction, and then they wonder why they can't focus. There is a story of a famous writer who bought an empty apartment just to write in. It had no internet, no TV, no pictures on the wall, just a desk and a chair. He called it his bunker of focus. He didn't have to fight distraction, because distraction didn't exist there. You might not be able to buy an apartment, but you can create a zone, a corner of a room, a specific chair, a pair of headphones. When you enter the zone, you work, no exceptions. Contrast that with your environment. You are trying to focus, but your phone is buzzing on the desk. You are trying to eat clean, but there are cookies on the counter. You are trying to sleep, but the TV is in the bedroom. You are fighting a war against your own home, and the environment always wins. The architect does not rely on resisting temptation. The architect removes it. This is the principle of invisible friction. Every habit has an activation energy. The harder it is to start, the less likely you are to do it. If you want to play the guitar, but it is in a case, in the closet, behind a stack of boxes, the friction is too high. You will watch Netflix instead. But if the guitar is on a stand, in the middle of the living room, fully tuned, the friction is near zero. You will pick it up without thinking. Technique number 1. The design audit. Walk through your house as a stranger. Look at every object. Ask, what behavior does this object command? The TV commands passivity. The couch commands laziness. The running shoes by the door command movement. The book on the pillow commands reading. Technique number 2. The power down ritual. Before you leave your desk or go to bed, reset the room to 0. Clear the desk. Open the notebook to the blank page. Lay out the gym clothes. You are setting the stage for your future self. Chapter 5. The rule of consistency. There is a dangerous myth that you need to be perfect, that if you miss one day of your new habit, you have failed. This is the all or nothing fallacy, and it destroys more dreams than incompetence ever could. Let's talk about the neurology of consistency. Every time you repeat a habit, your brain builds a layer of myelin around the neural pathway. Myelin is like the insulation on an electrical wire. The thicker the myelin, the faster and more efficient the signal travels. When you skip a day, you aren't just missing an action. You are delaying the myelination process. You are preventing the highway from being paved. The danger lies in the gray zone. This is the moment after you miss a habit but before you have completely quit. It is a fragile state. Most people interpret a miss as a signal that this isn't working. They turn a temporary stumble into a permanent identity crisis. They say, "I messed up my diet for lunch, so I might as well eat garbage for dinner." This is illogical. If you got a flat tire, would you slash the other 3 tires? This is the slight edge philosophy. The difference between success and failure is often found in the simple, easy-to-do actions that are also easy not to do. It is easy to read 10 pages. It is also easy not to read them. It is easy to do 10 push-ups. It is easy not to. The successful person does the easy thing, consistently, when no one is watching. The failure neglects the easy thing. The difference isn't visible on day 1, but it is monumental on day 365. Intensity is overrated. We love the montage sequence in movies, the intense training, the sweat, the exertion. But real life isn't a montage. Real life is mundane. Real discipline is boring. It is doing the average thing, over and over again, when nobody is watching. The person who works out intensely for 2 weeks and then quits is far behind the person who walks 20 minutes a day for 10 years. Consider the law of accommodation. Biological organisms adapt to the stress placed upon them. If the stress is sporadic, once a month, the body doesn't adapt because it sees no need. If the stress is constant, daily, the body changes its structure to handle the load. Consistency signals to your DNA that this new activity is now essential for survival. Therefore, the bad workout is actually the most important workout of the week. It is the workout that proves to your brain that you show up even when you don't want to. It maintains the rhythm. It protects the infrastructure. The quality of the action matters less than the existence of the action. Imagine you are building a brick wall. You lay 100 bricks perfectly. Then, you lay 1 brick slightly crooked. Do you tear down the entire wall? Do you smash it with a sledgehammer and say, "I'm terrible at this"? No. You fix the 1 brick, and you keep building. In discipline, the goal is not perfection. The goal is continuity. The architecture of a habit depends on the frequency of the repetition, not the intensity. It is better to do 5 push-ups every day for a year than to do 500 push-ups once and quit for a month. This brings us to the most important rule in this entire audiobook, the never miss twice rule. Everyone has a bad day. You will get sick. You will have a family emergency. You will just feel lazy. That is the first miss. It is an accident. It means nothing. But if you miss the second day, that is no longer an accident. That is the start of a new habit. The habit of quitting. Technique number 1. The emergency protocol. Define your minimum viable habit. When chaos strikes, what is the absolute smallest version of your habit that still counts? Define it now, before the chaos arrives. When the storm hits, switch to the emergency protocol. Don't stop, just shrink. Technique number 2. The visual chain. Get a physical calendar. Put a red X on every day you complete your habit. Don't break the chain. The visual satisfaction of seeing a row of X's releases dopamine. It turns discipline into a game. Chapter 6. Time blocking architecture. Time is the raw material of your life. Yet most people treat it like a limitless resource. They wake up and react. They check emails. They respond to texts. They let other people dictate their agenda. This is defensive living. The architect lives offensively. We must understand the cognitive cost of context switching. Every time you switch from writing a report to checking an email, your brain experiences a switching penalty. It takes an average of 23 minutes to get back to the same level of focus you had before the interruption. If you check your phone every 10 minutes, you are biologically incapable of deep thought. You are permanently stuck in the shallows. This effect creates attention residue. When you switch tasks, A part of your brain remains stuck on the previous task. You are never fully present in the current moment because your neural resources are fragmented across 10 different open loops. By time blocking, you allow your brain to reach flow because you remove the need to constantly switch gears. You stay in one gear long enough to gain momentum. This is the distinction between deep work and shallow work, coined by Cal Newport. Shallow work is logistical, emails, meetings, filing. It keeps the lights on, but it doesn't move the needle. Deep work is creative, strategic, and difficult. It creates value. Most people spend 90% of their day in shallow work and wonder why they aren't progressing. The architect ruthlessly protects deep work blocks. Think of your mental bandwidth like a checking account. You start the day with a fixed amount of focus currency. Every decision, every distraction, every notification is a withdrawal. If you spend your currency on trivialities in the morning, you will be bankrupt by the time you get to your most important project. This is why Steve Jobs wore the same clothes every day, to save the currency for things that mattered. You need to erect walls around your time. People will constantly try to breach these walls. They will say, "Do you have a minute? Or can I just pick your brain?" These seem innocent, but they are thieves. They are stealing your most non-renewable resource. You must learn the polite but firm art of the no. If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. Structure brings freedom. People think a strict schedule is restrictive. In reality, a lack of schedule is restrictive because it leaves you in a constant state of anxiety, wondering what you should be doing. When you time block, you are free. When it is time to work, you work without guilt. When it is time to play, you play without guilt. The boundaries create the peace. You must understand your own energy curve. We are not machines that run at 100% efficiency for 16 hours. We have peaks and valleys, dictated by our circadian rhythms. Most people have a peak in mental acuity, about 3 hours after waking up. This is your golden time. This is when you should be building the cathedral, doing your deepest, most difficult work. Yet what do most people do during their golden time? They sit in meetings. They answer trivial emails. They scroll social media. They are using their best bricks to build a doghouse. Technique number 1. The sacred hours. Identify your peak energy window. Block it off. Treat it like a meeting with the CEO of your life. No phone. No email. No interruptions. If you protect just 2 hours a day for deep work, you will produce more than most people do in a week of distracted busyness. Technique number 2. Parkinson's Law. Work expands to fill the time available for its completion. If you give yourself all day to clean the house, it will take all day. If you give yourself 2 hours, you will become a machine of efficiency. Set artificial deadlines. Compress the timeline. Chapter 7. The Resistance. There is a force inside you that hates change. It is ancient. It is biological. It is the lizard brain, the amygdala, designed to keep you safe, comfortable, and alive. But in the modern world, safe often means stuck. Carl Jung called this the shadow. It is the part of your psyche that prefers the status quo. It is the voice that says, "Who are you to do this? You're going to embarrass yourself. Why bother?" This force is not just passive. It is active. It actively works against your ascent. The moment you decide to better yourself, the shadow grows larger to match your ambition. The most dangerous aspect of resistance is that it masquerades as rational thought. It doesn't sound like a monster. It sounds like a lawyer. It gives you logical, defensible reasons to procrastinate. I need to do more research before I start. I need to clean my desk first. I'm not feeling 100% today. These are not reasons, they are rationalizations. They are the resistance wearing a suit and tie. This is the eternal battle between the amateur and the professional. The amateur lets the resistance dictate their schedule. The amateur waits for inspiration. The professional knows that inspiration is a byproduct of work, not a prerequisite for it. The professional shows up even when the resistance is screaming. Resistance feeds on fear, but fear is often just a signal of importance. You don't feel fear about doing the dishes because the dishes don't matter to your destiny. You feel fear about writing the book, starting the business, or having the difficult conversation. The fear is a GPS signal pointing directly at what you must do. Run toward the fear, Every time you succumb to resistance, you feed it. You make it stronger for tomorrow. But every time you beat it, every time you sit down and write despite the fear, you weaken it. You build self-efficacy, the belief that you can trust yourself to act. This is the ultimate confidence. Stephen Pressfield calls this force resistance. In our architectural blueprint, we call it entropy. Entropy is the universal law that all systems move toward chaos and disorder, unless energy is applied to maintain them. Your natural state is not discipline. Your natural state is decay. Every time you sit down to do deep work, entropy wakes up. It whispers in your ear, "You are tired. You can do this tomorrow. Who do you think you are?" Check your email just one more time. It is not a logical voice. It is a chemical one. It manifests as procrastination, fear, self-doubt, and physical fatigue. The amateur believes this voice is real. The amateur thinks, "I must be tired. I should rest." The architect knows this voice is a liar. The resistance is actually a compass. The more important a task is to your evolution, the more resistance you will feel toward doing it. Technique number 1. The launch sequence. When the alarm goes off, or when you sit at your desk, you have a 5-second window before your brain kills the impulse to act. This is the action switch. If you hesitate, the lizard brain floods you with excuses. You must launch before the excuses arrive. Count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Move your body. Technique number 2. The bad draft protocol. Perfectionism is just resistance in a tuxedo. It looks elegant, but it is paralyzing. Give yourself permission to do a terrible job. Write a bad page. Do a sloppy workout. Just show up. A bad workout can be fixed. A skipped workout is a 0. Chapter 8. The compound effect. We live in a microwave society. We press a button, and 30 seconds later, we have a hot meal. We post a photo, and seconds later, we have validation. We have lost the ability to understand linear time versus exponential time. This concept is famously illustrated by the penny doubling riddle. If I offered you $3 million cash today, or a single penny that doubles in value every day for 31 days, which would you take? Most people take the $3 million, but the person who takes the penny has only $5,000 on day 20. They look foolish. However, on day 31, that penny is worth over $10 million. The magic happens in the final few days. Imagine an ice cube sitting in a room at 25 degrees. You slowly heat the room. 26 degrees. The ice cube doesn't melt. 27 degrees. Nothing. 30 degrees. Still nothing. You have been applying energy, but you see no result. Then, at 32 degrees, the ice begins to melt. All the energy you put in from 25 to 31 degrees wasn't wasted. It was stored as latent heat. Habits are the same. You are heating the room, but you haven't hit the melting point yet. Do not stop at 31 degrees. We are stuck in the plateau of latent potential. This is the period where you are putting in work but seeing 0 results. You are on day 15 of the penny doubling, and you only have a few dollars to show for it. You feel like giving up because the external world hasn't caught up to your internal effort. The architect knows that the energy is not lost, it is stored. It is potential energy, waiting to become kinetic. Consider the negative compound effect. A 1% error daily seems harmless. Eating one cookie doesn't hurt you. Skipping one workout doesn't matter. But over time, these small errors compound into disaster. A plane that is off course by just 1 degree will miss its destination by hundreds of miles after a long flight. You don't ruin your life overnight. You ruin it 1 degree at a time. The hardest part of the compound effect is the invisibility. The early stages of decay are undetectable, and the early stages of success are invisible. You must have the faith to continue working in the dark, trusting that the math will eventually work in your favor. When you finally succeed, people will call you an overnight success. They will see the 31st day, but they didn't see the 30 days of doubling pennies in silence. Do not let their ignorance of the process discourage you from the process. When you start a new habit, let's say reading 10 pages a day, nothing happens. After a week, you are not smarter. After a month, your life hasn't changed. After 6 months, you might feel a slight difference, but your friends won't notice. This is called the valley of disappointment. This is where 99% of people quit. But the architect understands the exponential curve. Think of a bamboo tree. For 5 years, you water the soil, and you see nothing. Not a single sprout. The tree is building a massive root system underground, an unseen architecture. Then, in the 5th year, it breaks the surface and grows 80 feet tall in 6 weeks. Did it grow 80 feet in 6 weeks? No, it grew 80 feet in 5 years. Discipline works exactly the same way. Your efforts are being stored. You are banking potential energy. When you hit the critical threshold, the results skyrocket. Overnight success is a myth. It is simply the moment the bamboo breaks the ground. Technique number 1, the aggregation of marginal gains. Stop looking for the silver bullet, the one massive change that fixes everything. It doesn't exist. Look for the 1% improvement. Can you sleep in a room that is 1 degree cooler? Can you put your phone 1 room away? Can you read 1 more page? These tiny margins, when aggregated, create a landslide of results. Technique number 2, the lag measure versus lead measure. Stop looking at the scale lag measure. That tells you what you ate 2 weeks ago. Look at your calorie intake today. Lead measure. Stop looking at your bank account. Lag. Look at your daily spending habits. Lead. Focus entirely on the input and let the output take care of itself. Chapter 9. The Identity Bridge. In the introduction, I promised to reveal the identity bridge. This is the psychological mechanism that separates those who try from those who become. Transformation is a form of letting go. For the new you to live, the old you must fade. This is difficult. We are emotionally attached to our old habits, even the ones that hurt us. They are familiar. They are comfortable. We have friends who bond with us over those bad habits. Retiring the old self means grieving that loss. The sunk cost fallacy keeps us trapped. You think, I've always been this way, or I've invested so much time in this lifestyle. But the architect ignores sunk costs. The architect looks only at future value. If the current structure is rotting, you don't keep painting it. You condemn it and deconstruct it. You must create a clear before and after point in your timeline. Rituals help with this. Ancient cultures had rites of passage, challenging ceremonies that marked the transition from boy to man. We have lost these. You must create your own. A day where you throw away the junk food, delete the apps, write a manifesto. A day you can look back on and say, that was the closing ceremony of my mediocrity. Be prepared for the sabotage. When you start crossing the identity bridge, people around you will get uncomfortable. Your change shines a mirror on their stagnation. They will say, you've changed, or you're too serious now. Take this as a compliment. It means the bridge is working. You are leaving the island of their comfort zone. The bridge is long. In the middle, you will feel lost. You are no longer the old person, but not yet the new person. This is the liminal space. It is scary. Keep walking. Do not look down. Do not look back. The other side is solid ground. History tells the story of commanders who, upon landing on enemy shores, destroyed their own ships. Why? Because as long as the ships were in the harbor, the soldiers had an escape route. In the back of their minds, they knew that if the battle got too hard, they could retreat to their old life. By destroying the ships, the commander removed the option of failure. The only way home was through victory. Most people keep their ships. You start a diet, but you keep the junk food just for the kids. You start a business, but you treat it like a hobby in case it doesn't work out. You are building a bridge to your new self, but you are leaving the bridge back to your old self intact. The identity bridge requires a closure. You must move on from your old self. You must say goodbye to the person who slept in, the person who made excuses, the person who sought comfort. That person is gone. Technique number 1. The alter ego. Many top performers create an avatar. Beyoncé had Sasha Fierce. Kobe Bryant had the Black Mamba. When they stepped onto the stage or the court, they weren't themselves. They stepped into a constructed identity that had no fear and no hesitation. Who is your alter ego? Give them a name. Technique number 2. The environment flush. If you are truly a new person, does your environment reflect that? A new person doesn't have the old person's clutter. A new person doesn't have the old person's broken tools. Clean house. Change your desktop wallpaper. Buy new running shoes. Create a physical demarcation line. Chapter 10. Social blueprinting. You can have the strongest will in the world, but if the ground beneath you is shaking, your building will collapse. In discipline, the ground is your social circle. Science calls this social contagion. Obesity is contagious. Divorce is contagious. Laziness is contagious. Researchers have found that if your friend becomes obese, your risk of obesity increases significantly. We unconsciously mimic the norms of our tribe. If your tribe normalizes mediocrity, mediocrity becomes your baseline. It works the other way too. High performance is contagious. If you are in a room where everyone wakes up at 5 a.m. and runs businesses, you will feel abnormal sleeping until 10 a.m. You will raise your standards just to fit in. This is the proximity effect. You don't need more willpower. You need better proximity. Often, the people holding us back are not enemies. They are friendly enablers. They love you, but they want you to stay safe. They say, "Come on, one drink won't hurt." Or "Why are you working so hard? Relax." They are offering you poison wrapped in love. You must learn to reject the poison without rejecting the person, or sometimes, you must reject both. You need a virtual board of advisors. If you can't find elite people in your physical city, find them in books, podcasts, and history. Marcus Aurelius, David Goggins, Steve Jobs. They can be your inner circle. Converse with them daily through their work. Let their voices drown out the noise of the average. The concept of crab mentality is real. If you put one crab in a bucket, it can crawl out. If you put multiple crabs in, they will pull down the one that tries to escape. Do not be surprised when the other crabs grab your legs. They are not evil. They are just panicked by your ascent. Shake them off and keep climbing. Humans are herd animals. We have mirror neurons in our brains that are designed to mimic the behaviors of those around us. This is a survival mechanism. If the tribe ran, you ran. If the tribe ate, you ate. If you didn't, you perished. Today, this mechanism works against you. If your 5 closest friends spend their weekends drinking, complaining and wasting time, your mirror neurons are constantly fighting to drag you down to their level. You are swimming upstream, against a current of mediocrity. Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." If your circle has a poverty mindset, you will never build wealth. If your circle has a victim mindset, you will never take responsibility. Technique number 1. The social audit. List the 5 people you interact with most. Put a plus sign next to those who energize and challenge you. Put a minus sign next to those who drain and comfort you in your stagnation. If you have more minuses than pluses, your foundation is cracking. Technique number 2. The digital tribe. Maybe you live in a small town and you can't find high-level mentors. That is no longer an excuse. You have the internet. Your 5 people can be authors, podcasters, or creators. Fill your ears with the voices of titans. Listen to them so much that their thoughts become your thoughts. Chapter 11. Recovery as a strategy. There is a misconception in the world of high performance. We look at athletes, CEOs, and soldiers, and we think they run at 100% capacity, 24 hours a day. We think discipline means never stopping. This is the hustle culture lie, and it is architecturally unsound. We must understand the default mode network, DMN, of the brain. This is the network that activates when you are not focused on a specific task. It is where creativity, consolidation of memory, and problem-solving happen. If you are constantly consuming information or working, the DMN never gets a chance to switch on. You become a robot, efficient, but uninspired. Recovery is when the brain connects the dots. Distinguish between active recovery and passive consumption. Scrolling Instagram is not rest, it is overstimulation. Watching the news is not rest, it is stress. Real recovery involves the parasympathetic nervous system. It involves silence, nature, breath. It is lowering the RPM of the engine so it doesn't overheat. Sleep is the foundation of biological discipline. During sleep, the glymphatic system cleans out neurotoxins that accumulate during the day. If you are sleep deprived, you are literally operating with a toxic brain. Your impulse control plummets. Your emotional regulation fails. Sacrificing sleep for work is like selling your car to buy gas. Think of elite athletes. They don't train 24 hours a day. They train for 4 hours and recover for 20. They take ice baths, get massages, and sleep 9 hours. They treat recovery as a professional obligation. You are a corporate athlete. Your brain is your muscle. Treat it with the same respect. Periodization is key. You cannot be in beast mode 365 days a year. Nature has seasons. You should have seasons of intense push and seasons of maintenance. If you don't schedule your breaks, your body will schedule them for you in the form of poor health or burnout. If you run an engine at the red line constantly, without changing the oil or letting it cool, it will break down. It is not a matter of if, but when. The same applies to your biology. Discipline is not about burning out. It is about energy management. The architect designs rest into the blueprint. A bridge has expansion joints. Why? Because materials expand and contract with heat. If the bridge were perfectly rigid, it would crack in the summer sun. It needs space to breathe. You need space to breathe. Technique number 1. The digital sunset. An hour before sleep. Shut down the input. No news, no email, no blue light. You are signaling to your brain that the hunting phase of the day is over, and the rebuilding phase has begun. If you treat sleep with the same discipline as your workout, your focus the next day will double. Technique number 2. Deliberate decompression. Watching 3 hours of television is not recovery, it is numbing. It is low-quality rest. True recovery is active. A walk in nature, a sauna session, meditation, journaling, reading fiction. Chapter 12. Failure Analysis. In 1940, the Tacoma Narrows Bridge in Washington state collapsed. It was a marvel of modern engineering, sleek and thin, but the designers had failed to account for aeroelastic flutter. When the wind hit the bridge at a specific speed, it didn't just push it, it caused it to twist. The bridge began to gallop like a living thing, until the steel girders snapped and the entire structure fell into the water. We must adopt the growth mindset, championed by Carol Dweck. In a fixed mindset, failure is a verdict. It means, I am not good enough. In a growth mindset, failure is feedback. It means, I haven't figured this out yet. The addition of the word yet changes the neural chemistry of the experience. It keeps the door open for improvement. Distinguish between failing, the verb, and failure, the identity. You failed a project. That is an event. You are not a failure. That is a label. When you label yourself, you stop trying. When you observe the event, you learn. The architect dissociates his ego from the structure. If the wall falls, he doesn't cry. He looks at the mortar mix. The Stoics had a concept. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle is not something to be avoided. It is the raw material for your development. The relapse teaches you where your triggers are. The rejection teaches you where your pitch is weak. The injury teaches you about biomechanics. Without the failure, you remain ignorant. Success hides flaws. Failure reveals them. When you are winning, you think you are a genius, even if you are just lucky. When you are losing, you are forced to examine the mechanism. Therefore, failure is a more honest teacher than success. Welcome the lesson, even if you dislike the discomfort. Resilience is not about never falling. It is about the refractory period, the time it takes you to get back up. The amateur falls and stays down for a month. The professional falls and is back up in an hour. Your goal is to shorten the refractory period, to bounce back faster each time. It was a catastrophic failure. But do you know what the engineers did? They didn't quit engineering. They didn't say, we are terrible builders. They analyzed the wreckage. They studied the physics of the failure, and they built a new bridge, one that still stands today, handling traffic that the old bridge could never have supported. In your journey of discipline, your bridge will collapse. You will have a week where you do everything wrong. You will binge eat. You will procrastinate. You will relapse. The amateur looks at the wreckage and says, I am a failure. They internalize the collapse as a character flaw. The architect looks at the wreckage and says, interesting. The structure failed under this specific wind speed. Why? Technique number 1. The post-mortem. When you fail, do not wallow in guilt. Guilt is useless. Conduct an autopsy. Ask 3 questions. What was the trigger? What was the friction point? What is the structural fix? Technique number 2. The never zero mindset. If the bridge collapses, you still have the foundation. You never start from zero. You have the knowledge of what didn't work. A relapse is data. It is expensive data, painful data, but valuable data. Chapter 13. Mastery and flow. We have spent hours talking about grinding, building, and fighting resistance. But there is a level beyond discipline. There is a state where the effort disappears. The Greeks called it arete. Psychologists call it flow. Neuroscientifically, flow is a state of transient hypofrontality. This means the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for self-doubt, planning, and the inner critic, temporarily shuts down. You stop overthinking. You merge with the task. Time dilates. Discomfort fades. You are running on pure instinct and training. Flow is addictive. It releases a cocktail of neurochemicals: norepinephrine, dopamine, endorphins, anandamide, and serotonin. It is the most potent high known to man. Once you taste deep flow in your work or habits, cheap distractions like TV or social media feel empty. You start craving the work, because the work makes you feel alive. But flow is not magic. It is a mechanism. It requires specific triggers, high stakes, clear goals, immediate feedback, and most importantly, deep focus. You cannot enter flow if you are checking your phone every 5 minutes. Flow requires the deep work environment we built in Chapter 6. Discipline is the price of admission to flow. You cannot hack your way there. You have to put in the hours of boring, grinding practice to build the neural pathways first. The pianist practices scales for years, so that one day he can improvise jazz. The discipline is the vessel. Flow is the water that fills it. Don't chase flow. Chase the conditions that create it. Build the skills. Create the environment. Embrace the struggle. And then one day, the struggle will dissolve, and you will find yourself flying. Imagine a master pianist. When they first learned, it was painful. They had to look at every finger. They had to count every beat. It was pure, grinding discipline. But watch them now. They are not thinking about their fingers. They are not counting. They are closed-eyed, swaying, lost in the music. The structure has been internalized so deeply that they are free to improvise. This is the paradox of structure. Extreme discipline creates extreme freedom. You think discipline is a cage. It is not. The lack of discipline is the cage. The person who has no financial discipline is a servant to debt. The person who has no health discipline is a servant to poor health. The person who has no emotional discipline is a servant to their impulses. When you build the habits we have discussed, when the gears are filed, the fuel lines are clean, and the foundation is set, you stop doing the habit. You become the habit. You reach a state of unconscious competence. You don't have to decide to go to the gym. Your car just drives there. You don't have to decide to work deep. Your brain just engages. Technique number 1. The challenge skill balance. To enter flow, the challenge must slightly exceed your current skill. If it is too easy, you are bored. If it is too hard, you are anxious. Keep raising the bar just 4% above your capacity. Keep the tension on the system. Technique number 2. Trust the mechanism. Once you have built the habit, stop micromanaging it. Let it run. Trust that your nervous system has changed. You are no longer the dreamer. You are the doer. The architecture holds. Chapter 14. The endless construction. Discipline is not a destination. You do not arrive at discipline and stop. It is a practice. It is a garden that must be weeded every single day. The Japanese concept of Kaizen applies here. Continuous, never-ending improvement. There is no finish line. The moment you think I have made it, you begin to decline. Success is a rented status, and the rent is due every single day. The biggest threat to your discipline is not failure, it is success. Complacency stops more champions than incompetence. Entropy never sleeps. If you stop maintaining the bridge, it will rust. If you stop weeding the garden, the weeds return. You must fall in love with the boredom of maintenance. You must find joy in the daily sweeping of the temple. Think about your legacy. Discipline is not just about you getting a six-pack or a promotion. It is about what you model for your children, your community, your world. You are showing others what is possible. You are a beacon of order in a world of chaos. Your example gives others permission to be disciplined too. The scale of your discipline determines the scale of your impact. If you can only govern yourself, you can only help yourself. If you can govern a family, a company, a movement, you change the world. But it all starts with the governance of the self. If you cannot command your own hand to put down the donut, how can you command a team? This is the infinite game. You are building a cathedral that you may never see finished, and that is okay. The joy is in the laying of the brick. The joy is in the becoming. Technique number 1, the quarterly audit. Every 90 days, check your foundation. Are cracks appearing? Technique number 2, the next level. Once a habit becomes easy, you must increase the load. Progressive overload for the mind. Close your eyes. Imagine your life 90 days from today. If you apply the architecture we have discussed, if you file the gears, if you clean the fuel lines, in 90 days, you are unrecognizable. You wake up without an alarm. You work with deep focus. Your body is stronger, your bank account is growing. You look in the mirror, and you see a person of your word. This reality is not a fantasy. It is a mathematical probability, if you follow the blueprint. Now, imagine the alternative. Imagine you close this audiobook and do nothing. 90 days pass. You are exactly where you are right now. Same frustration, same excuses, same starting over on Monday. The weight of discipline weighs ounces. The weight of regret weighs tons. Which weight do you want to carry? Consider the final reflection. Imagine you are at the end of your life, meeting the person you could have become, the version of you that didn't hit snooze, didn't procrastinate, didn't give in to fear. Are you strangers? Or are you twins? The goal of life is to make the distance between who you are and who you could be as small as possible. You have the tools now. You have the friction audit, the 2-minute gear, the identity bridge, the failure analysis. You are no longer ignorant of the mechanism. Ignorance was an excuse. Now you have responsibility. The blueprint is laid out. The concrete is mixed. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for the motivation to strike. Strike the iron until it is hot. Build the roof while the sun is shining, so you are ready when the rain comes. You are the architect. Design the masterpiece that is your life. Here is your immediate roadmap. 1. Audit your friction. Remove one obstacle today. 2. Pick your keystone habit, the one gear that turns all others. 3. Commit to the identity. Stop saying I want. Start saying I am. The cement is wet right now. You can mold it, but soon it will harden. If it hardens in the wrong shape, you will need a jackhammer to fix it later. Shape it now. If you are part of the 1% who will actually build this, like this video. Subscribe to join the community of architects. Join the channel for exclusive blueprints. And leave that comment. I am the architect of my destiny. The blueprint is in your hands. The tools are at your feet. The clock is ticking. Start building.